Right, there I am. Okay, so I should say, first of all, Steve and I, both IAB, but important difference, I'm Europe and he's UK. So the slides that you're going to see from me are really about setting a bit of a scene for the day, talking about the landscape across Europe in terms of ad spend and also in terms of media consumption. So a little bit about the trends that you will see in video and in various other aspects of online media. So I'm going to say a few words about IAB Europe to begin with. Here we are, we're stretching out across Europe. There's only a few little bits of bright green left that the footprint hasn't extended to. Exciting opportunities for 2012 include Macedonia, Bosnia and Kazakhstan, so if anybody wants to join me setting off in that direction, be very welcome to hear from you later. And the interesting thing about IAB Europe, and one of the things that makes it really special, is that it's a federation of 27 local IABs and also of 45 corporate members. So there's a real mix of different interests and aspects within IAB Europe, which makes it very collegiate and a very vibrant place to operate, I think. So what do we focus on? We've got 4 Ps quite handily: protect, promote, prove and professionalise. And protect, obviously, at the moment, very important in terms of the regulatory arena and what's happening with the Commission in Brussels. And Steve's going to talk a little bit about that after me. Promote and prove are close to my heart, and those are the bits that I look after. So first of all, I just want to give you an overview of our ADEX report and how we compile that. We launched this in 2006. It's called the ADEX benchmark, and it's compiled using information from across the 25 national IABs. And of course, it would be great if the 25 national IABs produced this data all in exactly the same way, but of course they don't. So one of the dark arts of IAB Europe is how to combine IABs that produce data in gross, net and rate card and make those into comparable data. So this is just a brief slide that shows you where the differences lie. And so one of the things that we do each year is that we apply various equations to those markets to bring it all back to nice gross data so that we can compare and contrast the markets and look at which is more display leaning, more search leaning, what the growth rates are, etc., etc. So the challenges, as I've said in there, achieving a fair gross value, making sure the categories are fairly represented and putting exchange rate adjustments in. Now this year we're just at the point before we publish this data, so we'll publish it at the end of May. So obviously we've got our 2010 data. Some markets have come out with 2011, but only a few at this stage, and we haven't gone through our great process of exchange rate adjustments. So I just thought I'd give you a quick idea of some of the growth rates out there that we're seeing so far. So what we had last year, the headline figure for Europe for 2010 was 17.7 billion euros, and IAB US's figure in euros was 19.6 billion euros. That US figure has now gone up to 23-24, so that was around where we were forecasting, and we think our figure also will go up to between the 20 and 22 mark. I think the final column, the 2012, is where things start to get very interesting in terms of will Europe actually start to overtake the US, and other powerful markets such as China, you'll see them starting to pick up and compete with the rest of us. So how do things differ across Europe? And here's a slightly scary slide that shows you how they do differ. Obviously the UK is a really big market in terms of the great scheme of things across Europe, and what this slide shows us is market share across the bottom, growth at that side, and then absolute size of market in terms of the size of the blob. So for example, we can see that you've still got a range of very high growth markets who haven't evolved into higher market share, and higher market share markets that are still showing a strong level of growth. So one of the things that we expect to continue, obviously, for the next few years to come is still a strong increase in overall online advertising growth across Europe. And if you think about some of those markets and the impact they'll have on the overall figure, Russia this year showed growth of 56% in its online advertising revenue that's just been published. UK shown 14%. A couple of the others, even markets like Spain, where you might expect things to be rather flat, that's still showing around the 13 or 14% mark in terms of online advertising growth. Okay, and a little look at display ad spend in terms of, again, showing you the huge variation in the markets. So over here, you've got the Nordics and the UK with a relatively high online display ad spend per capita of around 20 euros, and down here, obviously at the bottom end, you've got a much lower figure. So a couple of slides about mobile and video specifically to show really the growth potential there. So as you might expect, Finland is the country with the biggest mobile display as a percentage of total display, and obviously is much higher than any of the other countries reporting mobile. Now at the moment, not all of our markets report mobile and video specifically, so that's one of the things that we're working towards this year, having a much better grasp of mobile both in Europe and worldwide. And in terms of video, again, relevant to today's topic in terms of the expected growth of video, just wanted to show you this slide which highlights the expected online video viewing time growth across the big 5 markets in Europe over the next 5 years, so well, 3 to 5 years. So you can see the growth expected by 2015 in video time spent there. So one thing to look forward to is our Mediascope study, and you may have heard about this study before. The last time we put it in field in 2010, it covered 15 European markets, and it's the only study in the market that measures TV, online, radio, newspaper and magazine consumption. And what we've done this year, which the figures are about to come out, is we've moved it from 15 markets to 28 markets, so you're able to get a picture of the whole of Europe across all of those media for the first time. And so we can see the trends within video and mobile and some of the other areas via this study. And I think one of the most important things to note about it is that there are leading markets such as UK, Netherlands, and the Nordics in video, but that these other markets are catching up very quickly behind that. And that gives you an idea of the total media picture and online deep dive. So really, the opportunity for video and mobile across Europe is growing very quickly. One of the things that we've done with it this year is that we have, previously it included internet across laptop and mobile, so we were measuring mobile internet across Europe, desktop internet separately across Europe and combining the two. But this year we'll be also adding in tablet use and internet use across consoles. So again, that really enables us to see the effect of digital proliferation within the home on content consumption. So one of the things that, and I've seen a glimpse of the results so far, the effect that having multiple digital devices on content consumption and how that leads to increased engagement on specific topics via those different devices. I think that's one of the things that we specifically wanted to find out this year, and one of the early, very evident results from the study, how much of that media meshing and simultaneous media use is focused on specific content categories. Okay, so this is just a bit of a plug at the end of that brief presentation to say that all of these figures will be released in the very glamorous location of the Arts Hotel in Barcelona at the end of May. So the ADEX figures, the Mediascope figures, will be making it available then. I appreciate that not everybody can go to Barcelona even though they might want to. So obviously if you want any more information about it, or you'll be able to get the figures at the time via press release, etc. So without more ado, I will hand over to Steve to tackle the complex subject of regulatory. Thank you.